Welcome back, everyone. This episode is going to be a DIY tutorial about how to do a red torch by your own. This is to protect your dark vision when you are out observing under the night sky. In an earlier video, I talked about 5 essential astronomy tips, especially for you as a beginner. And this was one of my tips: protect your dark vision. And I promised you a DIY tutorial of how to do it. And yes, here it is. Hi everyone and welcome to this episode. Today this is a DIY tutorial of how to make a red torch or red flashlight by your own. Of course, there is several of them to buy out there, especially in astronomy stores. But in a previous episode where I talked about 5 essential beginner tips, one of the tips was that protect your dark vision when you're out observing the night sky. And I promised in that episode to show you a DIY tutorial of how to make red torch by your own. So this is what we're gonna talk about here today. I bought just a regular LED flashlight from the hardware store. It's just a regular one, 2 AA batteries inside. I didn't go for a rechargeable one. Don't ask me why, but I didn't do it this time. Um, I think this one has a good brightness as it is with the normal white LED. I'm not so into the numbers exactly what type of brightness you should have. I just do a test now and see what it turns out. But the basic is that I want to unscrew the lens in front, screw it off the torch, and see if it's possible to take out the inner piece. So I want to take out the front lens, because this one is we're gonna draw it off on the paper and then onto a red plastic sheet and replace this lens and see how it turns out. So just see, this differs a lot of different manufacturers and models of the LED lamp, of course. So make a little bit of investigation when you are at the hardware store and see, is this torch actually possible to take apart? If you see something that, this can be permanently welded in place, glued in place or something like that, it can make it a little bit harder. So see, maybe there is a torch that you can, that is on display in the store. Take it apart. Be careful so you don't destroy it though, but see if you can take it apart. And this one was possible. I could see it on display in the store. So okay, let's start. We have taken off the lens, the front piece with the lens and the LED lamp. Be careful and see if you can push out the insert. Yes, it comes out pretty easy on this one. So now I'm left with only the how to say, the ring, then the plastic lens that is in front of the LED and the reflector. So this is the first step. Take this one off, see if you can take out the front lens. Even if the front lens doesn't come off, the most important thing is that we can separate the outer ring from this unit. In this case, I will replace this lens with a new plastic lens that we will make now. But if it's not possible to take this lens off, that maybe it's glued in place or heated in place with the plastics, okay, we can put the new one in front of this one instead. So when we now have this plastic lens, I first start with a white paper, just a normal white paper, and just a pencil, and draw this outer line of the lens. So I have the correct dimensions, something like this, and it should end up like a small circle on the paper. I don't know if you can see it there. Maybe not, but it's there. And then with a normal scissor, I will cut this one out as good as possible. I'm not so good at this, really, but let's see what we can do. It's better to make it a little bit too big than too small. You can always shrink it down. It's always harder to make it bigger again if you cut too much. So try to follow the line as best you can, and you should end up with something looking like a circle piece like this. Compare it to the lens and see, are they the same dimension? It's turned out pretty good actually. Now we can try. Take this paper circle and place it in the outer ring and see, does it fit? Not really. It's a little bit too big. So, okay, let's shrink it down a little bit more. Let's see here. Now I'm just doing this on freehand, just taking off maybe 1 millimeter on one side. As I say, it's not rocket science, so it can be a little bit something like that actually. It seems to be pretty good. So now the paper, sorry, the paper circle is now inside this ring, and we see that the dimension is good. We can also try with the reflector and the LED, but in this case there is no point about that. So it's better to turn this white paper circle into red plastics instead. And now I have actually prepared a little bit beforehand. I bought a box with screws in the hardware store that has a red lid. Unfortunately, I was too eager to do this, so I just cut it out in the lid, and now I'm left with no lid at all. So I think I will put a picture of the box with the screws and the lid so you can see what type of it is. This plastic lid was approximately 1.5 millimeters thick, so it's a pretty thick plastic. But when you have this, it doesn't have to be a plastic lid from a box with screws. If you find some other type of plastics, it's not too thin. You need to have a little bit thickness, and this is to dim down the bright light from the LED because we don't want it to be too strong. So a little bit thicker plastic. Of course, not too thick either because then we don't have any light at all. But take this paper circle when it fits very good in the outer ring. Put it on the plastic. Once again, use a pencil. Draw the circle because now we know that approximately this size is good. Cut it out with a scissor again, or use a sharp knife if you prefer that, but be careful so you don't cut yourself. Again, try this red plastic circle now into the outer ring. If it's too big, small it down a little bit. Maybe you can use some sandpaper if you want a fine sandpaper. But in this ring from this torch, there is actually a little, how to say, a chamfer, maybe of 5-6 millimeters. So this gives me an opportunity to have the plastic a little bit smaller. So this one is pretty forgiving. But when you have the red circle, cut it out, make sure it fits good in this outer ring, snap it in place, and it should look something like this. And now let's see if we can put back the reflector with the LED inside the outer ring as well. Should also snap in place, on this model at least. So now we are back again, outer ring, a new red plastic lens, and the LED. And I know that some of you will say now immediately, "Yeah, but in the other lens you had a magnification that will center the light." But for this purpose, what I want to use this flashlight for, the torch for, I don't need to have this type of magnification or gathering of the light. So now let's see if we can screw it back on the handle, and let's see how it turned out. So like that, and let's turn it on. Yes, absolutely. It turns out very good. Let me turn off the light and we see the result and how it went out. So let's see. Yeah, actually, this was exactly what I aimed for. Now you can see the red light, and this is again to preserve the dark vision when you're out observing. And you can see that it brightens up pretty good. Not too bright because we still want to keep it not dark, because of course we want to see that they aim for this torch, but not too bright either, because it still can destroy a little bit of your dark vision even if it's still red. But I think this one turns out very good. Maybe if you use a thinner plastic and you still think that the torch turned out too bright, maybe you can put one more sheet of plastic. If you think it's too dark and not so bright that you wanted, maybe you can try out a thinner piece of plastic. Experiment a little bit and see what suits you the best. But for me, I think this turns out very well. So again, I don't have the original plastic lens. I replaced it with this red one that I cut out from a lead from a box of screws that I bought in the hardware store. And again, I have the picture earlier in the video that gives you an example of how that box looked. But experiment a little bit by your own and see what suits you the best, and hope that you will get um, satisfied and happy with your new red LED torch. That's all for now. Let's follow this channel and don't miss any upcoming tutorials and other astronomy related videos. Thanks for now. Thank you so much. Bye.